Welcome back, I'm Kim Bailey and this is Floral Art Online, and today I'm going to talk to our members about some ideas for the May 2024 member competition, and the title this month is A Bouquet of Emotions. Now I know that many of you have already been in touch with your various coordinators to just ascertain exactly what we meant by the instructions, because we talked about the staging for the bouquet. And the idea behind it is that what we didn't want you to do was use a whole lot of embellishments or non-plant material in the bouquet. So we're giving you the opportunity, when you stage your bouquet ready for your photo to send to the judges, that you can have some things that are part of the emotion that is portrayed around this bouquet. So for example, you might see wedding photos where they'll do an image of the bouquet and it'll be surrounded by what the bride's going to wear, so her shoes and her jewellery, that sort of thing, or the same for buttonholes for the boys. It might be that within the bouquet you want to have some sort of remembrance of a person who is no longer with you. It might be something to do with, we very recently here had Anzac Day, so it might be a posy or a bouquet that you have left or chose to put together for remembrance. It might be, and I guess this is what inspired the topic this time around, because there is a worldwide movement in June, mostly, that is called the Lonely Bouquet. And what it encourages us as floral designers to do is to make up little bouquets, put a tag on it that says, "I'm lonely, take me home," and take a photo of me and post it on social media or whatever else it is, if you want to. But predominantly it's to give people something that is a little bit of an emotion, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of just a good feeling, and to share our skills with people who might not ever come in contact with them, and be able to share an emotion, our emotion of giving and their emotion of receiving something that is unexpected and different, and something they probably wouldn't buy for themselves. So that was the inspiration for this month's topic in terms of interpreting that title, so that bouquet of emotions. So the emotions might be, you might be very well versed in what certain flowers mean. So there'll be certain flowers that are indicative of certain emotions, and that's something that you can research if you don't know about that, and perhaps use them in your construction notes which you submit with your design. We want you to put in what emotion you're expressing, feeling or giving, and why your bouquet matches that emotion. So it's about not just putting the flowers together, because a bouquet in a sense is easier than a lot of the other designs that we ask you to do, because we're not asking you to interpret a particular title, we're just asking you to put a bouquet together. Whether you wire your bouquets or whether you do hand tied, doesn't matter to us and to the judges. We just want to see a bouquet that you have put together with some thought that's gone into it about the emotions that you felt when you were putting it together, or the emotions that you would like the recipient to feel when they get it, or that the general public might feel if it's going to somewhere where it's going to be on display. In terms of incorporating something of the emotive stuff within the bouquet itself, that is acceptable. As with all of our designs, we would ask that you keep these embellishments, so the non-plant material, to something that is probably less than 20% of the design that you're submitting. So for example, I did a wedding some time back now where the father of the bride had passed away. They had hoped that, they knew he was very ill, they had hoped that he would be around for the wedding, but he wasn't, and so they had made a locket with his photo in it, and what she wanted with that was for it to dangle down, for it to be a drop from the bouquet. So she's holding the bouquet, it's not buried in the bouquet, but it's just a drop, just almost as though she's holding a chain, a pendant that is part of the bouquet. So we did that. In terms of emotion within the flowers themselves, I did a wedding very recently where everything had to be bright and joyous and celebratory, big word. So we made sure, I took the bride and the groom, with me to the wholesalers and said, you tell me what colours, you tell me what shapes, and we'll see what we can put together. And it was interesting that it was a real push for me to choose the very bright colours, almost fluoro colours in some cases, but that's what she wanted. And when we put the flowers together, when the bouquet came together, it was just perfect because it was a hot summer's day and the groom wore a very bright orange, ochre colour coat and braces and all sorts of things, and the bridesmaids were in very sombre colours, very sort of a muted pewtery colour, their dresses. And so the flowers just popped against all of this other things that were happening around them, and it was a happy day, just a day full of joy. Whereas sometimes when you get a wedding that is a little bit more formal, it's a different kind of emotion, and that's perhaps what other brides are looking for. So I can think back to a wedding that I did in the middle of last year, where there was some emotion involved, once again, for people who couldn't be there, who had passed away in the period of time between the engagement and the wedding. Very special people to all of us who were at the wedding, not just a particular part of the bridal party or the families there. And what I did with that was, rather than a bouquet, is I just made 2 little heart-shaped wreaths out of baby's breath. So they were very discreet, but they placed them at the front of the bridal table. So it was just like there were 2 hearts there. There was emotion out of it, but it wasn't obvious what it was. But everyone that looked at them knew why they were there and felt their own emotion. But also, it was that bittersweet time of wish they were here, but so nice that we can remember that they would have enjoyed it this way. So once again, in terms of a bouquet, it doesn't have to be round. It doesn't have to be structured in that way. A bouquet can be heart-shaped. So long as you can hold it with something, then it is still a bouquet in that sense. You can use a structure. If you do some research, and I think I've got some photos of weddings that I did some time back where the trend was to have geometric shapes. So I did concentric circles. That was a drop down. That's still a bouquet in our way of judging, but it had different kinds of emotions. So it was the joining of it was a blended family. So it was the joining of all of these different parts of the family, and so that created some emotion as well in terms of its interpretation. But what we want you to remember in all of this is, do your bouquet, feel your emotions, make sure that you include the emotions within your construction notes that you're submitting, and we'll see what comes out of your very inventive minds in the next few weeks. I'm Kim Bailey, and this is Floral Art Online.